The one point is, yeah, go for your one. Just blow it away.
How have I got that?
So you can't do some cards, just instant to, or you picked up some, someone just left a card with you, picked it up. That counts as early.
Hi, it's 1975 and welcome to Elite Dangerous on the Xbox One. And today I've got a fun video for you. This is some fighting from the CG. I had an amazing time at the CG. From when Tidy started interdicting me when I was in my pirate ship, through to the end of the weekend, battling everyone. It was an awesome time. I had so much fun. I was winging it around. These guys were with Ogram, so we started fighting them. And yeah, that just carried on all evening long. I was in and out of fights all evening with these guys. And it was great fun. I was having a whale of a time smashing and ramming into Corvettes. It was actually this fight that taught me that I can actually boss a Corvette when it comes to ramming them in my frag rambo. If I catch them and pip check them, it actually does do noticeable damage to their shields with a full speed ram. So, and I'll be honest, I don't care about my shields in this thing. They're there to use as damage. You know, this ship is there to ram itself into the ground and then get out, reboot and repair and come back in and ram itself into the ground again. And that's its job. It's, you know, it kind of suits me because it's like the kamikaze, yeah, it's just the insane kamikaze machine. Just smash. And yeah, I had a whale of a time, you know, flying around. There was one point where we got saved. Me and Frodo were on our own against two Corvettes, a Challenger and something else, and we were like, oh, Frodo was in his Byweave Mamba, which is a really good ship. He beat me in a 1v1 in that thing, so it's yeah, it's an interesting build. It's super annoying, and it is a missile spam Mamba, and yeah, it's just really annoying how quickly it regenerates its shields. So he was doing his regen shields things. I was out reboot and repairing, and I could only see Frodo in there, and it was like there was two Corvettes, a Challenger, and something else chasing him, and I'm like, oh, sorry, dude, I've got to reboot and repair. But luckily, two members of Cult dropped in and helped us out, and it totally turned the tide of the fight. You know, and during the excitement of that one, I think while Ogram was trying to escape on low hull, I shot one of the Cult guys in the back with a random frag, I think. Not, you know, I didn't shoot him. I shot at Ogram and he got hit by the frags because, you know, that's what happens when you start shooting space shotguns at people. They tend to splatter everywhere. But it was an amazing event. I'm really enjoying the CGs. They're back. I did full CG. I trucked for a good long time in a wing. You know, had fun trucking. Trucking with some really random guys that I wouldn't normally wing with. I was actually in a wing with Lincoln. I had a chat with Lincoln Scythe, who has appeared on my channel a long time ago. Me and Scooby fighting him in his Corvette. And he was actually, not Corvette, Scooby was in the Corvette, Lincoln was in his cutter. And Lincoln was in a torpedo cutter when I was in a wing with him trading. So it was kind of like, it made me feel more secure because it's like, oh, you know, if someone interdicts me, they're going to get torped. Especially if they're interdicting me in something big. So it was a fun event. I had fun trading with random people, making sure people got their trade dividends. I had fun winging it around in combat, flying with Frodo and Spare Ration, some of NTFS, having an absolute lark of a time. There were some amazing fights all throughout the weekend. This was one of the nights. On one of the other nights, there was a massive fight by ED. It was awesome. You know, I had 2v2s, 1v1s, the whole gambit of stuff you can get up to while a CG is going on. And for me, it was an awesome laugh. And I've got to say, I'm so glad CGs are back. Are they going to be enough to keep me going until Odyssey comes out? I honestly don't know, because the delays to Odyssey are obviously something that I want to do a full video about. But at the moment, because my personal opinions I think are so different from the community's, I'm kind of tempted to wait a bit and gauge a bit more of the reaction to other people. I am disappointed that the Dark Marauders aren't going to be the first people to kidnap someone on a planet's surface. We may be, but we'd be lucky if no one on PC tries it first, because they'll have months before we can do it. But you know, that's the way of it. There's nothing you can do about it. It's, you know, I understand some of the reasons for the delays, but yeah, I'll leave that to a full video. But this was just fun CG action, and let me know if you took part in the CG. Let me know in the comments down below what you did. One of my favourite moments was two of my subscribers going at each other. Frodo, who I am in wing with, got into a heated argument with one of the space truckers that was there, the English Gents to New Pilots Initiative, and it was really fun because I was in a wing with Frodo, and they're insulting each other, and at one point English Gent's like, well, I'm friends with him. Yeah, I'm friends with both of you and I'm winged with one of you. So I put in system chat, like, I was backing out of that one. I didn't want to get involved between the two of them. Though I've got to say, it was an epic contest between a passive aggressive trader and a keyboard warrioring ganker at a CG. There was definitely some fun and shenanigans going on there. The system chat was lively all weekend. It was a really, really fun event. I do love hanging out with CG, seeing so much of the community, seeing commanders I don't normally see, seeing a lot of different people, getting a lot of nice supportive messages, having fun running from the police, having fun shooting the police, having fun just winging it around, chatting with friends, having a laugh, catching up with people I haven't seen for a while, even if it is to only exchange a couple of lines of text in the system chat. You know, all in all, it was an absolutely awesome and fun event. And the fighting was kind of like the icing on the cake, because I came down here with the express view. I parked my carrier in the system next door because I couldn't get into the CG system, and I was running backwards and forwards to cargo. Then I thought I'll give a go at piracy, and then I thought, you know what, I'll try a bit of PvP, because people were jumping me when I was trying to pirate. Frodo jumped me when I was trying to pirate, and I just sat there with 4 pips to shield after I hatch break it, limped at him, saying, no cargo, how do you make any money? I always like to do the NPC lines to just make the point. I'm not fighting, I'm pirating. And it made Frodo laugh, because you know, I did that one to flip a gold once. I always try and go for the how do you dregs make any money, and it's just my way of saying, I'm not PvPing right now, I'm pirating. I can't fight you in this ship. I can hold my own in that ship and I can run away. I mean, I've made it tough enough so I can sit there with 4 pips to shields while Frodo's blasting the hell out of me while I, you know, type out that message. But it's not a combat ship, it's a pirate ship. There's a lot of cargo racks, hatch breaker limpets, collector limpets. So that's what I do to signify that I'm not, you know, looking for a fight. It's just hatch breaker to let them know I'm in a pirate ship, to let them know that I'm not in a full PvP build, and then go from there. In this fighting, there were casualties on the other side. I don't remember us losing a ship, but it was awesome fighting, really good fun. And I was a point where I was stuck between 2 corvettes getting absolutely blasted. And I just, you know, I went for so many rams. I smashed my own shields off so many times. It was awesome fun. And there was one point in the fighting, which I'll end this video on, where one of the guys saw me what he thought was weak, low waking out, knowing I was probably going off to reboot and repair, and he decided to chase after me in a vulture. What he didn't realise was that thin sliver of shields I've got is probably more than he has on his ship. This ship has an immense amount of shields on it for a medium, and yeah, I don't think he realised quite how tough it was. It was a brave move by the vulture, and usually a smart one. If you're in a vulture and you see someone, you know, low waking on low shields, going after them isn't usually a bad idea. But it was one of the most fun PvP encounters, so I thought I'd leave it to the last, because it was a decent bit of 1v1 fighting in what had otherwise been chaotic wing fights. But frags are just, they are immense against bigs, because let's face it, you're just going to hit everything, and it's just, you know, the amount of damage they dump out is awesome. You know, there's 2 ways to approach people who use a lot of shield cell banks. just go for max DPS and try and overwhelm their shield cell banks, or you know, using bank cancelling rails. And I've got to say, I do love the fact that these guys were using a lot of dirty tactics. I think this was Scramble Spectrum hitting me, and that's not just one Scramble Spectrum, because I know I've got so much, you know, my priorities are set. I know what I'm doing when it comes to countering Scramble Spectrum. But yeah, that thing was taking out a lot of my systems, so I think that's multiple Scramble Spectrums. Well, it was a full pulse laser annoying Corvette, but like I say, this thing, it reboots repairs, and half the shields on this are still probably more shields than I've got on most of my ships. It has ridiculous shield strength. It's a tough ship, and that kind of suits me because I am not very good at PvP combat still. I'm getting better, but I'm not very good, and having that safety blanket of being in a really tough ship, it does really help. I understand why people like to do PvP in cutters, because it is like the no risk ship. When you've got, you know, 9,000 plus shields, a build you can camp 4 pits with, and some shield cell banks, you're good to go, and you're never going to be in danger, because unless you get torped, you're always going to be able to low wake or high wake at will in a cutter, unless you have another cutter rammed up your butt. So I understand why people like that safety blanket, and this is my safety blanket, having a particularly tough ship. The only issue with me is I'm still quite nuts, and I will full bore ram stuff even when I'm weak. I will, you know, fight on with no shields. My problem is I sometimes get myself killed because I'm slightly too aggressive and nuts, but I've got to say, it's more fun that way. And there's no shame in dying in PvP in Elite Dangerous. If you're not dying, you're not doing it right. So I'll leave you with that fun fight between me and a vulture, and I'll say that's all. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy this fight. 07 to everyone involved. GG's to all that I fought with over the weekend. It was a great CG. Hope to see you at the next one. Hopefully there is a next one that's decent. So take care. I'll catch you all in the next video.
Oh, the other one's only that vulture. Look at that fucking gimbally. What's that doing? Ah.
Says it doesn't have shields, but I see myself shooting shields at me.
It doesn't have shields. Isn't flying evasive? No evasive, I'm flying aggressive. Open up now.
Start back to so much actually. What's going on? be, you know. I'll come in, so.
Of course.
I'll come in. So